call the police. Don't reach.
Oh, Drake dropping tonight at 12.
Don't reach. Don't reach.
Calling out tomorrow.
Cause it might be the last time before they call the police. Don't reach. Don't reach. Cause it might be the last time before they call the police. Shit, okay, my papa was a rolling stone, my mama was a diva. That's mama baby, but her daddy didn't need her. Was never satisfied cause daddy was a cheater.
Yo, you tune in to WWJD, What Would Josh Do? Thank y'all for showing up. We had minor technical difficulties, but we back, y'all. So for those who may caught the first one, didn't catch the piece of the first one, today's word is through. Anybody that knows the show knows that I love to give a word with a definition, and I try to pick a word that we use a lot, but we don't think about the definition of it. So today's word was through, and the definition is moving in one side and out the other side of an opening, channel, or location. So the question was, are we creating an environment to allow our children to move through life and move through the world, or are we creating an environment that's stagnating them? And and what can we do about it? C's?
So for me personally, I think, right now, with the way the culture has, become the way it has, I believe we are at this current stage stagnated, and it's the people who do the right thing, and persevere and push through. So, we got to continue to change the narrative in our community so everyone will have the opportunity to move through. We have a lot of great people from our city that's made it through. We just got to continue to do the right things, bring the right energy, keep pushing this movement, keep fighting this fight we fight it, and we will all be able to get through. So yes, we can get there, but right now at this current time, it's a big case by case, individual by individual basis.
Understandable. We got a special guest here, Officer David. He most of you might recognize him from working over at City Hall. We're honored to have you on the show. We're honored to get your perspective. This is really dope to have a black police officer from our community. A lot of people know you from the Bennett home, so you're familiar with a lot of the older people in our community. But are we creating an environment that our kids can move through life, Officer David? Or are we creating an environment that's stagnating them? It's my view that we definitely creating an environment that's stagnating them. If, like I said, it used to be a show called The Reading Rainbow, where it was promoting to our children to read. And through reading, it could take you places around the world, because the thought was if you could go there mentally, it'll drive you to want to go there physically. So that's why I'm always pumping education. It's the fundamental. It's the core of everything. It's the core of your success. It's the core of your downfall. It's the thing that's going to drive you. So, are we creating that community for children to go through, or are we stagnating them?
I believe it's both, because just you giving them a word for the day, that's the channel for them to go through. This radio station is a channel for them to go through, and then there's also where we have some people in the community that create negative situation for them. But I come to realize is a lot of it is don't know, and which is ignorance. So you can't teach what you don't know. Because I remember, what our old heads taught us is what they knew from their old heads. You know what I mean? So the parents try to teach you one thing, but I was out in the street more than I was home. So yeah, I listened to mom at home, but when I'm out in the street, I got the utmost respect for my old heads. So what they say is bond,
And I'm glad that you brought that up, that you were out in the street, right? Because if nobody knows, they don't know, right? So what was some of the things what were some of the things that were placed in your life that allowed you to curve around that? What were some of the doors that were opened that allowed you to go through and brought you to where you are today?
I was fortunate enough to be raised by a strong black woman. My mother passed when I was 4, so her sister.
Shout out to our black queens.
Her sister raised me, and it's just a couple things she asked me not to do, and I thought it was an honor that I wasn't going to foster care or nothing like that. So the one thing she asked me not to do was to sell drugs, which is one thing I wanted to do because that's what you've seen, and that's what you thought was the cool thing to do. You know, money girl, so that's the mentality. But she instilled in my head, please don't do this. And I'm kind of loyal, so much as I wanted to, I didn't. So that's one way. And then there was a gentleman in my project named Mr. George, you know what I mean? He got a drill team. We seen different parts of the world, you know what I mean? Well, Pennsylvania, D.C. So to me, it was like, wow, it is other parts of the world. And he got us a baseball team, he got us a football team. So it curbed some of my negativity thoughts and ways by keeping me busy and showing me different areas of the world and doing different things.
Absolutely. See, what are some of the things that we could do to, what are some of the things that we are doing, because we active, right? There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
We active. Like, it's absolutely no doubt about it, right? What are some of the things that we could do to encourage the rest of the community to get active?
Man, just continue to do what we doing. Continue to be the presence, you know. Continue to just be normal, you know. Show people that what regular life is really about. You know, you don't have to be a dope boy to have money. You don't have to sell drugs to have nice things. You might need some patience. You know what I'm saying? But it's just continuing to be that example, that positive role model. You feel me? Like, for the longest time, it was a negative stigma on people, you know, who indulge in marijuana. As far as how can you help the kids if you smoke drugs? Like, I ain't smoking crack, nigga. I ain't smoking wet, you know. And once the medical benefits, you feel me, came about, was really they was able to tax it. Mm-hmm. You know, now they can make money off of it. So now we gonna sell weed to the masses and say it's medicine.
Absolutely.
But, you know, so that stigma was always kind of deterred me from wanting to do something. You know, but it just came to a point where I was like, F it, you know what, I'm going to be me. Once you sit down and get to know me, that shit shouldn't matter because I'm a good person at heart. I got good intentions. I got morals, you feel me? I got structure, you feel me? I come from a structured home. I come from having my father, you feel me? So I know the benefits of growing up with a positive male role model in your life, and I know the disadvantages of not having that.
Absolutely.
Figure.
I know earlier, again, if you missed it, we apologize. But I know earlier we were speaking about the importance of asking your children questions and being active, an active parent, an active listening parent. Because sometimes we allow that old ways that our mom and dad used to teach us creep into us, right? Oh, shut it, no, listen to me. That's it. It's my word and that's it. But we forget that our children are learning as well. Just as if you don't realize that you can learn how to teach your children, how to love your children better, then we're not really learning anything. That's one of the things I encourage is to be an active listening parent. One of the things that I learned about, from the death of my son was to ask my children everything. And I always say, don't miss out on a thorough conversation. Like, don't miss the opportunity to hear the truth and to get it raw from your dad, from somebody that loves you unconditionally, for somebody that's gonna die for you, live for you, go through the fire for you, stand in the rain for you, somebody that no matter what you do in life, my love is never gonna change. Get the advice from that person.
But you know what's crazy? Because that's all good, but you know what? It's for some reason it hit different when somebody you don't know, when a stranger come up to you and say those things. Like as a parent, as a child, you expect those things from your parent. If you got a loving parent,
how do we break the barriers, bro? Because you're right, that's deep. Because it happened to us.
You need brothers like us. We need to be those strangers and enforce the same message that positive parents are enforcing at home. Or if they're not getting these positive messages at home, we need to be the ones that's enforcing it and drilling it into the back of their brains and tell them till they tired of hearing it. Because eventually, it's going to kick. The light switch is going to flip. It happened for us.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
One of the big parts of us really getting it together, and not just our community, but every community, every inner city across the world, is this connection right here. So one of the reasons why I brought Officer David on the show was because I wanted to humanize him. I wanted to humanize that we have black police officers in our community. We also have white police officers in our community that care about our community, that want to be a part of our community, that are a part of our community, because you also a coach, and you also from right here in our city. You grew up with a lot of our mothers and our fathers and our big cousins and all of that stuff. And this is one of it. So when we humanize him as a community, we can also weaponize him to be able to freely go out in that community and have these hard conversations, and also demonstrate that it really is police out here that are here to protect and serve, and not out here to stagnate us, not out here to knock us upside our head.
Not out here to harass us. It's crazy you got this officer on here when yesterday, a video was floating around on Facebook of some Chester police officers not shown in the best and most positive manner. And it's like a night and day situation because, when I first walked into the room, I didn't even know his brother was an officer. I wouldn't even know if you wouldn't have said it.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy because if I'd have walked into this room 3 years ago and I'd have been blindsided like that, I'd have been bloody. You know what I'm saying? Because that sees would have been like, I don't want to sit in the room with no cop. You got me looking crazy on the live.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And now, to me, being who I am now, like I'm still one of them brothers that scream, forget the police, all that. But at the same time, I humanize the uniform, you feel me? The uniform is just that, it's a uniform, but it's some people that take that uniform and they get drunk with power.
Absolutely.
You feel me? They feel like a superhero, like, nah, bro, you just a regular person like me.
And we gotta understand, one of the biggest ways, I said that the water, stagnated water can rust the strongest of metals. So if you stay stagnated, eventually you're gonna rust, you're gonna crumble, and you're gonna fall. You gotta keep moving through. You gotta keep going through. And I'm glad that you brought that up because that's the transition, right? That's the like you said, that's the recognizing that one of the biggest propagandas that we a lot of times feed into is the media.
Absolutely.
The media will have you, they will desensitize you. They will have you thinking that all police is bad because that's what they show. And if that's what they constantly showing, then what they're doing is they're robbing our children of having police officers like you that's really about the community, that's really want to get to know what's going on, that's really here to help us to protect and serve. It creates a narrative that, oh, nah, man, F them, they all the same. But they're not. Just like if you'd have seen me, if you see us now, sometimes you might think we the old us if you don't know what we doing in the community. And it's easy for you to be like, oh, I ain't messing. Right. But until you know me, until you get to know what I'm doing now, until you get to realize the legacy that I'm creating today, then you don't know nothing. So what are, now that you are weaponized with this new outlet that people can see that you hear, what are some of the things that you see within, the realms of policing everywhere? not just in our city, because it's an issue everywhere in the world, in every inner city in the United States, in the world. What are some of the things that you see that, you know, just being honest, that we could do, that you guys can do on your end that can make it better, as well as on our end?
Get out and interact with the community and understanding some of them still not going to care for you regardless, but understanding as a police officer, we're taught totality, so we have to look at the whole big picture. So thinking of the big picture, I had a little situation this week where I seen a gentleman in the street tatted up, and I said, give me a pound, man. And I'm in uniform. He was like, give me a pound, man. I mess with the police. All police suck, man. All police beat me up. I'm like, man, you telling the bad-faced lie right now, because I just met you and I ain't laid my hands on you. So we have to change the mindset of people and just get them to begin to understand. Like I said, I'm a person just like you, but I choose to do this job because I want to make a difference. And one thing I share with them, you can't change their mindset, but like the brother said earlier, you plant a seed. You know, in every profession, you got some people that's not good. But in police, I'll say about 10 to 15%, but 85 to 90% is good. So saying that, you talk about the narrative, especially as a black man, I'm like, well, how do you stop the narrative? You intervene. You become one. And you know how you will treat your people. So become one and help make a difference. Take that sacrifice. And you'll get to see the other side of the realm, because even with people you love, they change on you. They treat you a little different. And I'm like, but you know me. You know what I mean? You know I am. And I haven't treated you different. You know what I mean? I mean, if you cross that line, that's the choice you make. You know what I mean? So when you cross that line, you hurt my community anyway, because you're not doing the things that need to be done in the community to make a difference.
Let me ask you this, because this is a question for myself as well, because I don't know. Say if it was a kid watching the show right now, right, and he like, man, you know what? I want to change. Like, I want to be like them guys. Like I want to get active in my community. I want to put my guns down and all that. Is there a program set up that if they wanted to, like the buyback gun program that they just had?
Right.
Do we have something continuously like that, or is this just going to be? Can you speak on that? Is this just going to be a when they feel like it's getting overbearing thing?
Before not to cut you off, but before you answer that, officer, the gun buyback, I went to the one that we just recently had. We worked the table there, and nobody from the community showed up. Not one person showed up on the east side. It was 10 minutes left. My man grabbed him. He grabbed the mic for this one. I was wondering where you was at. You woke now.
Uncle P.
But it was this one Caucasian brother. It was this one Caucasian male came in, and he dropped off like 10 guns. I mean, old rusty joints, 2 revolvers from his dad's collection. He said, my dad had like 300 guns before he passed. So, I'm just he's selling guns, pretty much. He came up, you feel me, as to where though the initiative of the gun buyback is to reward people in our community for doing the right thing. You feel me?
What is that reward for those who don't know?
I mean, they gave him a $100 gift card. That's why I said
gun?
10 guns. Yeah, he can't, and
So
every gun was worth. He got $1,000. He got 10 gift cards worth of $100.
For what? Is it a particular store or they visas?
They was TD joints, so they was like MasterCard joints.
Right,
joints you could use anywhere.
So you could use anywhere.
Yeah, and it was, and I talked to the officer that was in there, and I explained to him why this failed.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask
you. It
you.
did fail because
how was it set up?
Nobody. So
they did it for 2 days. They did 2 locations. They did.
Well, I worked Friday. I don't know what Saturday. Saturday I was at the Chester Day Festival. Right. That's where my job required me to be.
37 guns off the street. That's 37 people that could have had a gun. That's 37 people that don't have a gun. That's 37 guns.
That's just a statistic. You got to dig into the statistic. It don't matter to us. But bro, if it's not designed
for the white guy that brought the guns in, right? Let's just say he died and his son found the gun. You feel me? And his son decides to give little Marky a gun. And Lil Marky decides, you can't.
Bro, you digging too deep into it. He was from Delaware, bro. He was from Delaware.
But in this situation, everybody's perspective is their own reality. But the reality of it, sometimes the big picture we don't look. That's still 13, 12 guns that's not in our community,
Right.
that is off the street, that's
was
not
from
going to kill.
Delaware.
It doesn't matter. Guns travel. They don't just sit in Delaware. People carry the guns. It's a perspective. Everything starts with a mindset. Until you begin, like I said, totality. At least it's 13 guns that you know won't be on the street. And that's the big picture. So whether it was 1, whether it was 13, it's a win-win-win. We
So-
look at numbers and judge it by numbers.
So I feel you, right? And you're absolutely right. I see that. But I also don't want us to be. I don't want people. I don't want them to. I don't want them to blindside our community. I don't want them to blind us with the facade that these guns actually came from a person who sell guns. And if he sell guns, that means the person who was buying his guns probably wouldn't get his guns unless they could legally buy his guns. So therefore, we didn't get any illegal guns off the
Thank
street.
you.
We got all legal guns off the street. And then it builds this
Thank
picture,
you.
oh, we got 13 guns. But what's the backstory to these 13 guns? These 13 guns didn't come from the Highland Guards. They didn't come from the McCabe. They didn't come from the project.
They didn't come from the city.
Nowhere in our city.
And
So-
you didn't see these guns that I seen. They was
so
old.
I'm sorry,
They was
Pete.
rusted.
So our community can feel safe. Because if I'm in the community, I'm like, yeah, that's 13
The
guns.
community's
But
not going to feel safe without their guns. Period. Point blank. Y'all don't feel safe without your gun.
I don't have a gun.
Whether you had one, ever had one, you didn't feel safe without the gun.
That's because I wasn't living right. I was dealing drugs, and we know why I had my gun.
You literally, right, don't have to answer every question that I'm
But I'm
putting out
saying,
there.
though,
I'm just
'cause-
saying we can't feel safe in a community without guns if other people have guns, bro. So at the end of the day, if they got 37 guns off the street, regardless of whether they came from the hood, whether they came from the project,
Well,
whether they came from the Highland Gardens,
I'm gonna
you're
say,
not gonna
I'm gonna
remove-
say they
And that's-
got
and
they
that's why I
got
don't
they
even
got
talk.
13 guns out of the world.
and
I
that's
don't want to say they got them off our streets. They got them out of the world.
but that's a good thing.
32.
It's a good thing.
But it's a mindset. You know, we caught on the gun, whether it's the gun don't have no name on it. All they need is somebody to pull the trigger. So no matter whether it came off our street, from Utah, from Italy, anywhere, it's one less gun we have to worry about.
Guess what? We could say for our community in Wilmington, for our community, for our community in Newcastle, that's dope.
Because-
they got 13 guns. That's dope. No,
That's the
that
politics
can't
behind
travel.
this shit.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I mean,
That's all that's about to me. But
I mean, I get that, and you're entitled to your opinion.
I know.
Like I'm
It-
entitled
it's-
to mine. My thing is the big picture is getting it off the street. That's a start. You know what I mean? Do you want them all out your city?
So-
Of course. You know what I mean? But when we can get rid of some, we know that's one less kid finding a gun in the closet.
So let me get back to the original question that I asked you. For future references, right? If somebody watching the show and they realize like, yo, I want to be a part of the change. I want to give mine back, right? I want to make it safe. I want to make the community safe. I want to be a part of what them guys is doing. Is there a program set up that someone can safely, with the same format that they had in the buyback, can someone safely come, turn in their weapon without no judgment, without no issues, without nobody questioning them or anything, just like the buyback program? Is there something that's set up for this to happen continuously? And if not, why do you think that is?
I haven't spoke with the uppers to know if it's a continued plan, but I know they have a plan, but they haven't discussed it with me personally. And it is because just me alone, I'm in Salvation Army 5 days a week. You can bring it over there to me. The gym is open from 4 to 7. Bring it over. I'll turn it in. So right there, that's the start to bring it in.
So you heard it right here on WWJD, because I think you was about to ask the same thing. We want to confirm, because this is our community, this our babies, these are young men, possibly some young women. And again, us humanizing you, we also weaponizing you with the ability to be in tune with the community that been blocking you out because they place you with everybody else. So here you are now. I want to confirm that what you're saying is that you're over the Salvation Army 5 days out the week. That if one of these kids watching this saying, you know what, I'm done, I'm wrapping it up, I want to turn my gun in, they could bring it over there to you, no questions asked, Is there a certain method, or would you like them to put it in a sandwich bag, separate the clip? Like, I want us to be completely clear how not only can they do it, but I want to be completely clear on the narrative that we're painting to our community that they can do this and it's safe for them to do this.
Well, I have to backtrack then a little bit because I don't own a Salvation Army and I work there. So I would have to talk to the majors and ask them about a program because it also has to be safe for the kids that are already there. So by the next time you go on air, I'll have the answers for you and confirm everything from them just to make sure. Because
and y'all stay tuned because, you know, like I said, I'm definitely friends with you outside of here. You know, we talk, we work together. So I'm definitely gonna be in touch with him, y'all. We definitely gonna get these answers because that's even if the Salvation Army says no, we're prepared to let's set it up somewhere else.
Well,
let's figure it out. If they can do that, if you're able to do that, and we can find that place, then let's find that place that our kids can feel safe, that they can bring it, turn it in, and again, so. Let's say we get there. What does that look like for you on your end? How would someone turn a gun, and how would you expect them to present a gun to you? Is it like I said? Is it in a Ziploc bag? Should it be zip tied? Like, how would you want? What's the safest way for someone to bring it to you?
First of all, empty would definitely. That's the start.
Yeah, first and foremost.
Empty in a Ziploc bag, wrapped up. Try to conceal it as best as possible. You can call over the Salvation Army. We can work up a plan, but like I said, I would also have to talk to my superiors, and we can come up with a code word so we'll know what you're bringing over and know how to handle it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, because it has to be safe as possible.
And I would
for
say, you know, for the sake of, let's say somebody driving it over there, right, and they pull over, I would say let every person get a unique code word. So if they get pulled over in the process, they could say, yo, I'm turning it into Officer David, and this is my code word. So then they could call you, verify, and say, yeah, I did just talk to that man. You know, because the code word is unique to that day, to that person. So if somebody had it, you know that you would have to be the person to give it to them.
Well, that sounds good and it sounds great, but I have superiors too.
Absolutely.
So I have to.
And I was just getting ready to say, I don't
yeah.
think it's a lot of cops that's not going to turn that stat down.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the code word is, and that's a stat for them. Like, you feel me? Because that's just how some.
But it's a vision,
that's
right?
That's the 5%. You feel me?
It's a vision, and we putting it out there.
It's a great idea. But how many other officers are going to go along with it? Like, how many of the white shirts, how many of them people going
to? And how do we start?
I mean,
how do we get that out there? Is it something that we could do as a community to go present it to them? Like,
That's a lot of meetings and a lot of conversations. That's not going to be solved with just one conversation. Because what you're talking about is unheard of. It's unprecedented. They're not doing that nowhere. So there's no numbers that says that this works. You feel me? What does work is what they do. What they're trained to do, which is arrest. You feel me?
That's not all we're trained to do, though. The first thing we're trained to do is protect and serve. And unfortunately, if you cross the line, that's part of it too. It's like I said, we're taught totality. Some people say, "Why are you writing tickets?" And it's a murder, because that's part of the job too. Just like your job. When you have a job, you have different entities, different things you have to perform, and we fall under that same category. You know what I mean? Some people say this is more serious, that's more serious. But little things lead to big things. That's the thing. Starting at home, just communicating with your kids. That leads to when they get older, you open up a dialogue where they're not afraid to share different things with you. But when you shut them up and say, like you say, do as I say, not as I do, they don't want to open up to you. So sometimes we have to start somewhere, and sometimes it may be failure during the midst of doing something. But you have to try. You can't say, I'm not going to try because of this or because of that. That's what's wrong in our community nowadays. People get frustrated because past history and what happens. And that's what gets stagnated. The people in the community don't work together because just now, you know what I mean? You can have a perspective and you can have an ideal, but what's the common denominator? Whether it's a gun off the street, that's what counts. But it came from somewhere else or somewhere. it's still guns off the street. That's the big picture. Yeah, we want them from here more because this is where a lot of the crime is. But at least we know they ain't getting it from them. So that's one less thing we have to worry about. So we still have to be grateful for the good that we do get out of situations and not also be so negative. But you can have your opinion and you can see it your way. But if it's about a common good, and that the good is getting rid of guns, period. Because they are hurting people, but it's the people behind the guns. So less on the street, less people get hurt. That's 13 guns we ain't got to worry about. We don't want nobody.
I mean, I dig that what you said, not to sound combative or sound negative, but y'all didn't see these guns that this old white man walked in there with. Like, these Jones was rusty. These Jones is not harming nobody. I don't even know if they work because they wasn't specific about what condition you bring the guns in.
So, Officer Damon, let me ask you this, because we hear your perspective. Do you agree with what we saying as far as there are politicians that are in these positions that are painting this narrative where they're trying to blind our community to what's really happening? Do you see where we coming from as far as, like, yo, none of those guns, and now that we know that, you know, like he said, we wasn't there, and he's seeing it, that they was old, they was rusted. And
But see, I only seen those 10. Those other 22 that Pierre talking about, they might have came on Saturday. They might be from somewhere else, but I'm just saying from my experience at the gun in my bag.
All right,
So Friday was a dud to me.
All right,
because I was there all day, and I seen one person come in.
Another.
And it was 2 locations. So I don't know what happened at the East Side location.
Gotcha.
But the location and what I personally seen with my eyes.
So Uncle P come back, we got confirmed.
It didn't justify the ends didn't justify the means, because like I said, the guns that I seen and the person that I seen bring them just seemed like he was doing it for a quick come up. Which is cool if that's your hustle. But for me and for my passion for what the work we doing, it was a dud. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that the idea didn't work. But like OG said, that's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? My opinion ain't always right. You know what I'm saying? But from what I personally seen, I expected more from our community. I would have liked at least to see one brother come in there. But, you know, the optics didn't look too great. You ride past and the big police car is right there. The first thing you're going to think of is, oh, shit, it's a setup. Mm-hmm. So opposed to this white man that knew that the gun buyback, who's probably been to multiple gun buybacks. Mm-hmm. You know, and he bought these old, ancient, rusty revolvers. He had 10 revolvers, and it looked like whatever was a 22 launcher. It didn't even look like a real gun. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that Saturday the other 22 guns weren't brought in by the right resources. So I kind of should have worded it better. You feel me? My personal experience and what I seen at the gun buyback, I thought it was a dud. You feel me? But that's my opinion. Everybody's got one. They like assholes. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they stink. You know what I mean? My opinion might stink right now, but that's just my opinion.
We got George in the comment. George said consequences comes with the wrong decision. Absolutely. Absolutely. But what's the right decision? And how do we continuously pump that? We know, again, I'm big on not like really bashing a lot of our parents today, because again, we from the generation of babies having babies, and that's the generation that we fighting against. And so it's not just enough for us to teach our children, we got to also teach our parents, because they don't know.
Right.
So what's the right decision? You know, how do we continuously pump that? How do we continuously get that out there? And what are some of the things, again, just as a father, right? What are some of the things that you see that you genuinely believe? Well, I know I talked to you earlier, so you don't really watch the news like that, right? But just from the police officer point of view, what are some of the things that you see in the community that we could do better? Besides the judging you, right? Because it happened, right? We put all of the police into this big box. And primarily because that's how the media painted, right? We've been growing up, NWA, go all the way back, F the police. But it's sad because when you look at you said something earlier, right? And I'm going to bring it up. It's sad because the people who own these big record labels are white, right? And And meanwhile, the narrative that they've been pumping to our children for years is F the police. Meanwhile, they're sending their sons, their daughters, their brothers, their cousins, their nieces, their nephews to the police academy, and these are the people that are running their community. So I say that to say this, for all the young men who just graduated, for all the young women who just graduated high school, imagine this. Imagine 10, 15, 20 of y'all saying, we're going to make a pact. We're going to go to the police academy. We're going to come back to our community. We're going to get jobs, and we're going to police our community with community policing. And this is possible. Just imagine. Just imagine 10. Imagine us getting 5 men and women from that graduation. But just imagine 20 getting together saying, yo, I would do everything in my power to get all types of funding for y'all. If y'all contact me, DM me, if this is something that you're interested in, because that's one of the core ways for us to take back our community. We complain about the police doing this to us. We complain about the police doing that to us. But what's one of the biggest ways that we can change that? We just had a whole graduating class of hundreds of students with no record that could go to the police academy, that could come back and take back your community to where as though now we not looking at the police like no nut, because that's my cousin, that's my nephew, that's my brother, that's my son. And they not handling us that way. They're handling us like family. They're handling us to protect us and serve us. But if nobody from that graduation class steps up to take on these roles, then honestly, we failing again. We lining up the next generation of failure. We lining up the next generation of not taking our community back. We're literally giving it to them. We're literally saying, no matter what I complain about, I'm still going to allow you to come into my community and do whatever you want to do to us, because I'm not going to step up and be one of the people that can change it. You're giving it to them. They're giving. If nobody in that graduation class just steps up and says, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a firewoman. If nobody steps up and says, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a doctor. These are the things that we're not talking about anymore. All we hear, I want to be an influencer, I want to be a gamer.
I was about to say, because that's not what's appealing. That take hard work. You feel me? Yeah. These kids want the fast cash, and they don't. And there's so many entities now to where as though they can get it if they work at it, but they don't want to take the old fashioned route. That's not what this generation. That's not what they say.
So, if y'all out there and y'all listening, man, my thing is this. I always say that once you hear it, you can't say you don't know now. Like, nobody watching this can walk away and say they don't know a police officer that's a part of the community. That's a lie. If you watch the show, can't nobody walk away from the show and say like, yo, it's nothing that we can do as graduates. It's nothing that we can do for our community to take back our community. That's a lie. Because besides, becoming a police officer, besides doing that, even if you want to be an influencer, if you want to be a basketball star, because we had so many great talents that left our city and ain't really do nothing. And then we had a lot of people that did. And shout out to those. And shout out, before anything, I want to shout out to all the men for Father's Day, all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day. We will be giving out 200 flowers to the fathers on Saturday.
200?
Yeah, 200 flowers. Wait, how many is it? Huh? 2?
I thought it was 100 yesterday.
100? All right, well, we got 100 flowers. My phone, Uncle P. Yeah, we got 100 flowers, so don't be running up on me after the 100 going, please. But the reason why we doing that, one, happy Father's Day, but two, because there's a statistic that says most men don't receive their first bouquet of flowers until their funeral. So one of the things we wanted to do, we wanted to give out flowers for the men on Flowers Day. So when you see us pulling up in our SUVs, man, please know we just there to, give you a flower and show some love and keep it moving. But just to keep it moving, what are again, Officer David? What are some of the things genuinely from your perspective that you would like to see from us as a community?
Well, first we have to change our mindset. And when I say change your mindset, you said you understand I coach. And when you coach, everybody has to buy into the system in order for it to work because it's team oriented. I ain't got necessarily totally agree with what you're doing or even like what you're doing, but I have to respect and understand what's the common goal. You know what I mean? And in sports, it's to win the championship. So if we all on one accord, shooting for one goal, that's the main thing. So you change the mindset. What is team about? I like team. Like I'm like you. I like words. I use the word team. It's together. The T stands for together. The E stands for everyone. So that means the parents, the children, the teachers, the doctors, the lawyer, everybody. And the same thing in a team. It takes the fans as well as the players, as well as the owners, as well as the coaches for things to work. That's why if you take just Golden State, when they talk to McGee, who don't play for him no more, who won championships with him, he talked about the top of the organizations, how they care about everybody in the organization, and they all working for one goal. That's what makes them. And then what they have over Boston, I still don't mean they're going to win the series, but they have an understanding. They have a little maturity about, this is the common goal. This is what it's about. So him sitting Draymond Green out, bad as it hurt, much as it pissed him off, he had to respect. I have to tell myself it's for the betterment of the team. You know what I mean? And when we come in situations like this, we converse, we think about it, because we all have good opinions and we all want the best because that's why we're here. But we have to say, so what we going to do? How we going to do it? First, we got to start with their mindset. You got to be able to change their mindset. And that's why, like I said, the T stands for together. The E stands for everyone. And the A stands for assist. I have to make an assist to every person on the team. And the M stands for members. So that's every member on the team. Everybody is important. Every single body, whether you're the mayor, whether you're the trash guy, or whether you don't have a job, you are important. And that's what we have to begin to install in our community.
Let me ask you this, because you come up in an era of NWA where they were saying F the police. What made you say F what they were saying and I'm still going to become a police officer? Or F what the narrative was painting out there, because back then it was a hard narrative. I mean, it's still hard now, but
for me, you either part of the problem, part of the solution. We been in homes. I wouldn't be a police officer. One of my closest friends, I'd never be a police officer, and that's a mindset. But I was the type of cat that a lot of cats would come to, and I would kind of stick up for. You know what I mean? So that's always been my natural nature. So then, becoming a police officer, protecting people and helping people and kind of trying to make a difference and knowing situations that other people that may not understand what we've been through as a culture because they have a learned behavior that they have been taught. They do things their way. And I know the way that I know that will help change the narrative by invading and becoming a change. Am I going to change the whole department, police all over the world? No, but one thing I know for sure, I'm going to do my part. And doing my part, another one may see me and may catch on and just may do their part. You know what I mean? So that's the start for me, I don't have a big grand scheme how I think about it, but because I know it starts small. And you got to crawl before you walk.
Absolutely. Is anything, before we wrap everything up, anything that, you would like to add for what can we do better as a community when it comes to taking our community back? What are some of the things that we could do to bridge those gaps?
Well, Officer Davis over there. It's Dave, but Dave, right? Sorry,
yes.
Excuse me. Officer Dave touched on a lot of good points, and for me, it's accountability. One of the favorite words you hear at the radio station because it's important. Accountability, unity, and just genuinely showing love. You feel me? Like we come from a city where it's a lot of negative energy. The negative energy get feeded into so quick. You know what I'm saying? Like you could post something positive. Perfect example. I showed you yesterday. I post my flyer and my stories. You know what I'm saying? traction was a little slow. So what I do, made a status, told everybody, I got a video of the mayor getting booed in my story.
Yeah, seen that, yeah, we seen it. I
You
literally,
feel me? And
this is facts.
My flyer was up for 2 hours before I posted that video, and it only had like 7 views. But within an hour, it was at 500 something.
That was crazy.
Because the negative energy and the fact that right now I know that I ain't gonna say nobody, but the mayor is not a well-liked entity. Controversy sells.
Man,
Iced Out
tough.
taught me that. You know what I mean? Shout out to Eugene Johnson, man, one of the hottest photographers we got from the city. That's my guy. But he always said controversy sells. And that was the perfect example. They know I got a radio show. You know, people, they got the story now, so you could look at it like, oh, that's his flyer. I'm going to go ahead and pass that. But now you want to see this video of Thaddeus getting booed, you got to click on my flyer.
Yeah, you got to click on this.
Even if you don't want to look at my flyer, you can skip right past it, but you had to give me that view.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to get to the negative, so you had to see that positive first.
Absolutely.
To get to that negative.
Absolutely.
And that's how we got to continue to play the game with them, you feel me? Because right now, everything is manipulation. I manipulated you to look at my flyer. Did it may it cost me something at the end of the day? If the wrong people see it, yeah, they might be mad at me. But any publicity, negative publicity, good publicity, is all publicity. It's all how you spend it and how you use it.
Absolutely.
You feel me? 2
Definitely
years ago,
in the world that we living in.
2 years ago, my face was on the front of the Daily Times. You know what I'm saying? For something negative, blasted me out. You think they'll put a picture of me on the Daily Times with that megaphone marching these streets as many times as I done did it? You'll never see it.
Yeah, that's me.
And if it wasn't for my niece writing the app, because they was using my face to promote their app, bro. A news app was using my face in situation to promote their app. Man, my niece had to write them a letter and told them, yo, we will sue y'all if y'all don't take my uncle face down. He is home. He's not incarcerated. Why you keep blasting this? This is embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? So it's got a little off topic, but to answer your question, man, it's just accountability, unity, you feel me, and continuing to show genuine love, because some of these brothers, that's all they really need. They never had love from a male before, so it's kind of weird to them. If I tell you I love you, but I'm preaching you to do positive things, and I'm not teaching you how to break yourself down or leading you down a path of destruction. I'm trying to build you up. They scared of that because they ain't never had nobody there do that.
Yo, and that's one of the things that I'm grateful that I learned as an adult male, as an adult king, as an adult man, that I need other great men around me to continue to be great. I'm calling you every day, bro. I'm calling Pierre every day. I'm talking to Amino Guns every day. I'm talking to the men that's in my circle. I'm talking to Corey Long. I'm talking to Rich Bender. I'm talking to Gio. I'm talking to men that are active in the community doing what I'm doing so I could constantly get sharper.
Shout out my brother George, man, because we call each other every day, man.
Oh man, George, man. Shout out to George, man.
George will be on the show next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
He
George,
coming on Kicking It With C's, man.
Shout out to Kicking It With C's too, man. Wednesday, 7 o'clock. You got to get to his show before you get to mine. Shout out to George. I just want to take this time to say Happy Father's Day, bro. George Tracy Mink on Facebook. Shout out to you, bro. Happy Father's Day. I appreciate your phone calls, bro. Like, you really call me every single day. And it really be, yo, bro, I just called to check your temperature. What's up with you? How you doing?
George was genuine.
Like, yo, that joint's so
brother.
genuine, bro.
Right.
And I want to take this time on my show, bro, to really shout you out and tell you that I love you, bro. And thank you, man, for those phone calls, because you never, bro, it's been times you done came through with that call and it didn't change the course of my day a little bit. So thank you, bro, man, for being the man you are. Happy Father's Day, man. I wish you the best, and I really just want to take this time out, man, to honor you and say thank you, bro, and keep doing what you're doing.
I'm going to save mine for when you come on next week, bro, but happy Father's Day, gang.
Yeah. So wrapping up, so today, before I end the show, I'm going to sign one of my shirts, man. One of my WWJD shirts, man. I'm going to sign it, man, because I promise you I'm going to be on my yacht in Greece So this joint gonna be real big. I'm gonna sign this shirt for you today. Anybody that shared a story, tag me in it, tag CMP Radio in it, and share it, man. I'm going to enter you into the contest. Let's see what we could do, man. Let's see who's going to win the shirt. I'm going to sign it right here on the air for y'all. Brand new shirt.
So I got a question right before you sign that shirt. What if the contest winner don't fit the shirt you signing?
Oh,
What if
man,
they need a
can
different size?
tell them to give it to somebody else, man, and bring it back, man. Nah, you shouldn't want to wear this one anyway. I'm telling you, this is the one that you want to put in the frame. I do got
That's the one to go on the wall?
Yeah, this is the one to go on the wall, bro. It's a signature. You don't
I
wear
hope I
this
win that joint. I can go up next to my gun violence march shirt.
as it should, bro. I hope you win too, bro.
Nah, I'm not in there. I don't think that's unfair. Cause then they'll be like, "Oh, it's rigged. Yeah, how your man's win it? Y'all always together. Y'all promoting controversy sells."
Absolutely. But that's my man, so I don't care. But yo, WWJD shirts, man. What would Josh do? This a dope shirt, man. They on sale, man. $25. Get with me. All the proceeds will go to the show and doing what we doing, bringing more guests on. Look out for Anna next week, y'all. Anna gonna be in the building. Mother, personal trainer. She gonna be coming through, giving us some health tips. Everybody in the community knows Anna. They love Anna. Again, big shout out to you, Anna. I'm looking forward to seeing you, having a dope conversation with you, and being able to share some health tips for our family and what people can do to get fit right where they are. So here it is. I'm gonna put my signature on the shirt, y'all, because this gonna be real big one day. Like I said, this is the one you gotta put in the frame.
Oh man, really right like Jeremy Shockey from the Giants.
Yeah, man, that's official, man. That's official. So it's officially signed. Like I said, it's the one you put in the frame. So I need everybody to share this joint, tag me in it, tag CMP Radio in it, and I'll pick the contest winner out of one of those people, man. So let's get to it. I love all y'all. I look forward to seeing y'all again. Shout out to C's every Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Your time. Shout out to Officer David, man. Thank you so much for coming through. We're going to do a lot of talking off air because we're not going to stop. You one of the liaisons for us, man. You one of the people that we know we could go to get that extra ear, that advice. So I look forward to just building with you, getting to know you more, man. And I met you during a security gig, man. We was working an older party. Dude was having a 63 birthday party, right? And he just wanted to make sure that people got to the car safe, right?
Okay, I was about to say, why 63?
Yeah, because where the parking lot was at, he wanted to just
I
make
get
sure.
it now, but when you first was saying it, I'm like,
and it's so funny,
he must have been a
man,
pimp or something. He was.
how God and the universe work, man, because I thought I was working by myself. He thought he was working by myself, and boom, we ended up linking.
That was how y'all there together.
Yep, so we just started busting it up, man. I told him a little bit of what I do. The lead youth development specialist for Making a Change group. Catch me in Amino Guns. We'll be teaching in the summer school program this summer, giving our children that raw data, that raw information, that raw love, things that they really need, teaching them. We created this thing called the toolbox where we'll be every day they'll be able to pull something out of the toolbox, and it's about the legislation, who's in charge of what, who's our state representatives, things that we should know to continuously stay active within our community. So I look forward to that. We got Amino Guns bringing a music side of things, and that's going to be really dope. So shout out to Amino Guns. Happy Father's Day to you too, bro. I love you. You somebody else that are you constantly in my life, bro. You constantly in my ear. We constantly building each other. And I'm just grateful to know another man like you. Happy Father's Day to you.
Yes,
Happy
God.
Father's Day to you, C's.
I
Yes,
appreciate
God. Yes, God coming in the building.
You're a little late, bro, but welcome.
Yeah. Yes, God. But he also coming on the show.
You got to run it back.
I got him coming on,
Damn,
bro.
Kev, now you know I'm gonna have to
man.
pull up on you because you know I'm ready to grind you up.
He
You're
gonna
supposed
be-
to been slide, but you on my man show, so you on my show. That's how we
I
carrying
got Yes
it.
God on the 14th.
Yeah,
He
man.
coming in on the 14th, man. And it's
Big
going
up
to be
to
a
Yes
movie.
God,
So
man.
bring your equipment too, man. It's going to be a movie, man. I'm looking forward to that.
You didn't tell him to bring his equipment, did you?
But nah, he
I'm about to say he gonna be talking. How you gonna take pictures?
Nah, but it's going to be a movie. Yeah, I know how he shoot his movies. He
can't
work
shoot a
everywhere.
movie and
I
talk.
never seen him go nowhere where
If
he's
he
not
can
working.
shoot a movie while sitting here at this microphone, he chip.
Bro,
He already chipped,
I
but he
watched
gonna
him
be
shoot
the.
a mini movie while he was out eating, bro, by himself.
I mean, that's eating though. It's
I
hard
never
to
seen
sit
him
here with
nowhere
a
where he
mic
not working.
because who gonna get the angles?
What's that saying? The hardest working man in showbiz? Like he everywhere. He made our kids look good for the prom.
Yes, God took the Chester rap scene to a whole nother level.
I never seen him not working.
Way
I'm
before
gonna wrap this
social
back up
media and YouTube was the thing. Like he had Chester YouTube smoking.
Yo, shout out to Yes God,
And he
man.
ain't
Tune
had
in
no
on the
pics.
14th, man.
Even people that was trash, you know what I'm saying? He was putting them up there. Shout out to him for being a real supporter, man.
Absolutely,
he ain't had no
man.
pics.
Absolutely,
And
man.
he promised respect, and he always carried it that way.
That's why I had to reach out to him, bro. And he made a comment like, yo, man, you got me feeling like I'm somebody. Nah, bro, you somebody, bro.
That's his humbleness. He a humble
Yeah, bro,
boy.
you somebody, bro. You a staple in the community.
Until he
for
get
real,
that
bro.
cup in him. If he get a cup in his hand, you're gonna see a whole different Yes God. That's the Yes God I like.
Hey.
I like that Yes God that talk his shit.
Hey,
because he worked.
So we gotta bring that. Got to be the adult show then.
Nah. That Yes, you can't mess with his image, man. He climbs respect. So leave that man alone, man. Leave that man. Let him come
Yes
up here
God coming on the 14th.
to promote his business.
Before that, we got Anna coming on next week. Definitely looking forward to that. Like I said, she's gonna be giving us fitness tips. And after next week, she might not be on the show every week, but every week I'll be getting a fitness tip from her. And moving forward, I just want her to be able to introduce her first one. And
So y'all gonna be back there doing jumping jacks and all that next week?
yeah, we could be. I still got it though, bro.
So y'all gonna be back there doing jumping jacks and all that next
We
week?
liable, bro. We liable to be doing planks.
Yeah, I won't be here.
We liable.
But actually, my babies is supposed to be here that day, next Thursday. So
Congratulations. Happy Father's Day.
hopefully
to
I
you,
won't be
bro.
here, man. I'll be sitting there holding my new babies, man.
Happy Father's Day, Officer David. Happy Father's
It's a
Day,
pleasure
Uncle
to meet
P.
you, OJ.
Appreciate it.
Happy Father's Day, Gio. Happy Father's Day, Richard Bender. Happy Father's Day, Corey Long. Happy Father's Day, Solomon Laws. Happy Father's Day, Malcolm Laws. Happy Father's Day, Damir Shaw. I know so many other names that I'm not gonna mention.
Happy Father's Day to my man, brother Pierre in the back over there.
Yeah. Uncle P, happy Father's Day. He
Uncle
already
P
know I
took
hit
the
him.
mic out. He got mad at us. He staying fucking with us right now. So
And we still love him.
you still my guy.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
never pull nothing like that on Wednesday. I walk off. I walk off the line. He like, it's your money. I don't give a. I still get paid. Like, I'm CMP.
Yo,
I am CMP.
I love y'all.
That's my guy. I
This
love
it, man. Again, tune in every Thursday, 7 o'clock your time. I holla at y'all.
Gang.
$25, man. We got the shirts, man. WWJD. Tap me in my DM.
Pause.
No bullets, I ain't fighting for freedom. I got my brother beside me, he right there if I need him. I got my blessings, they coming, I'm prepared to receive them. I got my suit and my tie waiting for God when I meet him.